it's about as good as we can play. Our second unit energy, the ball movement, I thought was outstanding. We go into the locker room with a, what was the lead at halftime?
17.
19. We're going with a 19-point lead. And this is always an issue with a young team. They're here when things are going great, and then they're here when things aren't going good. And you're always trying to manage temperament sometimes. But we've got to continue to grow. We've had double-digit leads in 2 or 3 games thus far, and we've managed to not lose them, but give up a large majority of it. So it's just an area we've got to grow in. You learn not to overreact to things young teams do, but use them as teaching points and get better. I saw a lot of good things tonight. I thought we executed our set pretty good, but when things start getting tight, we tend to get in our own phone booths, instead of trusting each other and moving the ball, let the ball find the shot. That's something we just got to continue to emphasize and work on.
Coach, talk about the defensive intensity tonight. I saw a lot of that in the first half. Guys diving for loose balls, getting transition buckets.
Second unit especially. I thought our second unit was good. One of the big keys on pick and roll defense is communication. Because think about a guard defending a ball handler out on the perimeter. When the screen comes, he doesn't know where the screen is or what angle or what coverage we're in unless the big guy tells him. And I always tell our big guys, you're like an air traffic controller. You're landing 3 or 4 planes in different runways. You've got to point and talk and communicate. When we get in trouble is our communication breaks down. But when that's good, we're pretty good. Greg Smith is, one of the reasons why he plays is he's really good at that. He's a good pick and roll defender. Patrick is, Omer is. But we have some breakdowns, but give New Orleans credit. They're the kind of team that's always going to keep coming. That team won at Chicago. They could have easily beat San Antonio. And I knew that this would be a dogfight. I'm thrilled with this win. I'm glad we won this game. New Orleans is one of those teams you got to beat them.
Besides the shots themselves going in that second quarter, Marcus and Tony, what was working so well offensively? How were we getting those kinds of looks?
The difference in the first unit and the second unit, I'd say right now, is primarily ball movement, but our defense was better too. You get runouts when you get stops. If you're taking the ball out of the net, it's hard to get a running game. But we second unit got stops. We got out and ran, got easy baskets. Tony Douglas, especially, forced the pace. His athleticism is a factor in transition.
Coach, I know you talked about it pregame, but can you put into words the difference, the growth that Marcus Morris has experienced from this time last season to now, where it seems like he's got all the confidence in the world to come in, shoot any open shot, and play really good defense that he did in the second half too?
Yeah, a lot of it's trust both ways. Players always want you to trust them, but they have to give you something that you can trust. I think all our coaches really trust Marcus now. But he invested. He's earned the right to be pretty good. Marcus still has a long way to go. He's got a lot of room for growth. But when you look at him, it's easy to pull for guys that work hard. And I'm really pleased with Marcus's growth. He's worked hard. I actually look forward to seeing the other teams go small so I can put him in. I like having him on the floor. He's probably our second best go get yourself a shot player. I'd say James can go get his shot just about any time he wants. But Marcus is, as long as he's at the 4, he's not as creative at the 3 as he is the 4 because of who's guarding him. But I thought our first unit in the third quarter early was good. I thought Jeremy Lin especially was tough on defense tonight. Jeremy's tough. He doesn't get enough credit for that. He sticks his nose in there. gets home before after loose balls, always in good position, and he moves the ball too. As the season goes on, we'd like to get Jeremy more involved in pick and rolls, but the teams jump on and force him to his left hand a lot. Jeremy's not as effective going left as he's going right, but as individual development, he's got to continue to work on that left hand, so we can play pick and roll with him to different sides of the floor.
Do you want Jeremy to shoot through the slump? It felt like, or it seemed like in the fourth quarter, maybe he was passing some open looks that maybe if he was feeling better about a shot he might take. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I didn't think Jeremy took a bad shot on that. I liked every shot he attempted. And I always look at him and give him a little fist bump. I said, keep shooting, Hoss. Next one go in. I want him to have that confidence because I have confidence in him. He's had games this year. I'm thinking about the Atlanta game, Detroit game on the road. Jeremy's had games where he's made those shots. So, but he's not what you would call a pure shooter. He's more of a streak shooter. So he'll have his streaks where he'll make those.
Happy with the low number of turnovers tonight?
Huge. We're getting better at that. But I think as we play so many veteran teams that have been together for so long. When you look at us, you can see where we can be, especially as we stay together and play the right way. But I think that's part of why we give up leads. It's we'll give up a lead with this guy. So I really want to help us come back, and he tends to try to do it himself instead of trusting his teammate like he did when we got the lead. So
thanks. Thanks for practice up to 11.
Thanks, Coach.